Oh my God. The show's going to start with a thump and then me laughing so hard that I can't catch my breath and going, that's wonderful. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monkey's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm all right. That thump. Oh, shit.
You all right?
Yeah, the autoplay on the video started.
Gotcha.
So, because I keep chat up. So I heard you say hi twice. I'm like, that's weird. He just did that. No, that thump was my water bottle. It's 80 ounces.
80 ounces. What is that in normal people?
It's like over a gallon.
Damn.
2.36 liters, whatever the fuck that is.
That's half a gallon, bro.
That's half a gallon?
Yeah.
I don't know. They told me to drink 64 ounces. So I got this thing that's 80 ounces.
128 is a gallon, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm supposed to be probably drinking.
Why are you drinking so much? You need hydration?
Well, the doctor told me to drink a minimum of 64 ounces, which I usually do. Actually, I drink 2 of these most days.
Damn. You must
pee
a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it makes you pee a lot, but it's worth it. You know, get good skin, nice glow to you, and it keeps me from shoveling food in my fat face.
And at 50, that's when you really want to worry about your fresh skin.
Well, I mean, look, it's my girlish complexion that keeps the ladies coming back for more. My large penis.
I was talking to my wife about the show Dexter because they have the new series coming out.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I didn't notice it when I first watched New Blood, but going back and seeing the original Dexter and then New Blood and seeing how much, what's his name? Michael C. Hall or whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
How much he aged. I was like, God damn, I didn't even notice that. And then I asked Lady Monkey, I said, have I aged like that? Like that picture up there on the wall? Because we have a picture from when we were, I think, 20 at the time. I said, do I look a whole lot older than that? And she goes, yes. I'm like, fuck.
That's so mean.
And she goes, we all do. And she really doesn't. Lady Monkey has not really aged that much. And
I heard that she bathes in the blood of virgins, like Elizabeth Bathory, and keeps her.
We live in a small town. There ain't no virgins around here. They ain't got nothing to do but bang each other.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair. You don't want to bathe in the blood of, like, used up whores.
Bathing in the blood of whores gets you sores.
Yeah, that's how you catch something. Other than a murder charge.
That's how Canada kills people.
That needles.
And needles, yes.
And the Highway of Lost Women. That's where the indigenous go to vanish.
I would be upset over how quick that answer was. It really was. And then she tried to make it better by saying, we all look older. I'm like, no. You were saying I look old as shit. Which is fine because I still look good. I've aged well. I've aged like, I would say fine wine, but wine tastes like shit. Everybody, you age like wine. What, bitter? What the fuck?
Well, I mean, I've gotten a lot more bitter over the years.
That's fair. But I always do that with age like fine wine. Wine is gross.
Yeah. If I shave and dress up, I look a lot younger. Like, especially if I shave, I have a kind of a baby face.
Oh, me too,
it's not that big of a deal. When I have the beard going, then I do look closer to my age because it's got a lot of gray in it.
I go from handsome with just a light fuzz on my face to homeless within like a week.
Oh yeah, me too.
I don't look old. I look homeless, and there is a difference.
Yeah, I kind of like that look because then people will leave me alone, and every now and then somebody might give you $1.
Nobody leaves me alone. Everybody's like, "Oh, he looks happy." Don't smile in public because people think it means come talk to me.
Yeah, you got to do the George Costanza. Walk around looking annoyed, carrying a folder. Everybody will think you're busy.
Oh, bro, we were in Walmart the other day, and I was just standing there, and a lady came up to me and said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm just in some pain. I'm fine." And that's when I realized how bad I must have looked at that moment, because strangers were coming up to me as I'm just standing there, Jack. Like, "Are
I
you all
just
right?"
really love cats. Should have said.
That would have been a great moment to pull something like that. I'm not that fast on my feet though.
We got to start a line of clothing to compete with Teddy Fresh, and we could call it Adorable Kittens.
Oh yeah.
It
And that would
just,
probably sell much better.
well, yeah, because everybody loves cats, and then chicks love cats. Because
I'm
they're
still bothered
sad.
by the whole Teddy Fresh thing. I do not understand why grown ass adults are like, I want to wear teddy bear clothes that look like they're made for 3-year-olds.
You know my theory on that. It
Yeah, I
involves
know.
candy
And
vans.
I'm with you on that.
That's creepy and weird.
Look, you can fit in on the playground. Nobody will suspect you.
Especially if you look as swarthy as Ethan.
There's
Is that
only
Oscar the Grouch wearing a teddy bear sweater?
there's only two kinds of people that wear that stuff. Whoever's hosting Blues Clues at that time, and pedos.
Yeah.
Anyway. Or you know what? I guess I should be fair, because we do live in the age now where grown ass adults are like, I wish I was a kid again. Yeah, me too. I miss having a bedtime and being told what I'm allowed to do and watch and say.
Hey man, there's people with diaper fetishes. You can't tell me there isn't one with like a 8-year-old Lego fetish that wants to be sent to bed, sent to his room.
I get tired of that shit. Like, I get it. Being an adult, I have responsibilities now. Yes, but so much freedom.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots to be said for that. But I do all the stuff that was punishment as a kid. You know, like go to your room, take a nap.
As
Stay
a
inside.
child, if I sat down and ate a quart of ice cream, my mother would have killed me. As an adult, only my body's going to kill me if I do that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's because you paid for it.
Yeah, it's mine though. I can do it if I want to.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
tired of fucking babies, and we're going to get to some of them later. But I'm tired of adults who are fucking babies about, oh my God, I gotta be an adult.
oh, they don't want to grow up because then you have to be
What?
responsible, and they don't want that. They have an obsession with somebody else doing all of the work. They do just want to be like kids on a fake sick day, like just stay home and finger paint and
We'll do
be
that. Take a fucking
obnoxious.
sick day once in a while. It's fine.
No, they want to do it every day. Working is so hard, monkey. 8-hour shift. It's so
I
hard. What if somebody calls off? You'll be like that barista at Starbucks. It's so hard.
I was also a child who enjoyed his childhood. I had a lot of fun as a child, but I always wanted to be older. I wanted to be an adult and be able to make my own decisions, and that has stayed with me as I've gotten to do it.
Yeah, I completely
Necessarily
understand.
angry when I see posts like that, especially over on Facebook, when they just have those little words of wisdom. I just wish I could be a child again. Fuck off, get brain damage, and they'll treat you like one. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you can sit there and not understand everything going on around you, be afraid of everything, and have to go to bed early. All the cool stuff happens at night.
Yes, that is true. All the worst stuff as well.
Yeah, but if you're looking for something interesting to happen, it's going to happen at night. Like you got, aside from criminal behavior, you've got your UFO sightings, weird noises in the woods. All the cool Cinemax shows were on at night.
Have you guys seen the Dr. Phil episode of a woman being told she has to get a job? She cries like she's 5. No, I haven't seen that, but I'm not shocked.
That's
I mean,
like half of Dr. Phil these days.
we watched the barista at Starbucks. Oh my God, I got to work an 8-hour shift.
Whenever I start to complain about my life, I find myself thinking about that video.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this sucks. I don't want. Oh yeah.
When I start complaining about my life, I think of people my age who've already died of horrible things, and I'm just happy to still be here.
Dude, ain't that the truth? It's getting worse too. We're losing all the good ones.
When you're in your 30s and you hear somebody your age dies, it's like, wow. When you're in your 50s, it starts happening at an alarming rate.
Yeah, and people like celebrities you remember seeing in TV shows and movies are just dropping like goddamn flies.
And
But
those are really fucked up when you realize they're only like 10 years older than you.
yeah. Like when Screech died, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, there was a time when you're a kid and you see somebody on TV. Like, I did not realize me and Alyssa Milano are.
You're what? What? Oh, damn it. Now we're never going to know.
The people we grew up watching are going to be dying soon.
Yeah. You're back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome
All right.
back.
Let me fix this real fast, Jack.
Indeed.
Talk to the audience for 1 second.
What's up, beautiful chat people? Like, share, subscribe. Put it out on your social media. So a lot of combat at night. Yeah, see? Everything happens at night. You got them sneaky terrorists and all sorts of shenanigans. I'm in bed by 9 p.m. anymore. Wow. I have trouble sleeping. I'm a chronic insomniac, as you guys probably are aware if you watch my X feed. So I've been a night person since I was like 17, 16, somewhere in there. Probably actually before that, but it just got to where I had the freedom to do it by then. So it's been a long time since I went to bed at 9 p.m. unless I had to work.
I've always been a night owl. I literally born at night, just after midnight, and my whole life, Jack. Like I was the child who didn't go to sleep. Excuse me. At bedtime, the three of us would be sent to bed, and my two brothers would fall asleep, and I would be awake until midnight, basically every night of my life.
Yeah, I was always awake, but couldn't until I was like 16 or 17. I really couldn't do anything.
Sure.
I had to stay in my bedroom with the light out, and that sucked.
I got really good at sneaking around, and I would sneak around the house and watch TV from different angles down the hallway and shit. This is back in the day when we didn't have TVs in our hands like we do these days.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier now.
Yeah. God, my life would be so different if we had cell phones when I was a kid.
Yeah, you plug some headphones in, and you can watch movies on your phone on the Wi-Fi all day, all night rather.
We should probably get to the topic of this stream. We're almost 15 minutes in, and I do want to talk about this story. How kissing can actually spread depression and anxiety, according to a new study, Jack.
Oh, is it because women might laugh at you if your technique is bad?
No, it's much dumber than that, actually.
Well, I guess they're not talking about me then.
My first thought when I saw this headline was if kissing depresses you, you're doing it wrong.
Well, you do pay extra for it, so...
Yeah, I mean... No, this is a first thing. When I read this, this popped right out at me. Right out at me. A new study out of Iran. Oh.
Well, the experts on interpersonal contact got it.
The folks, the horrifically repressed people are like, kissing will make you sad. Baby got bad. Or what does that say? Back, B-A-C. I don't care. I like when they try to be snarky in their opening line of the New York Post articles.
Yeah, it's always funny.
We all know that kissing and other close contact can transmit infections like the common cold, mononucleosis, and herpes.
Yep. There it is. That's why you don't kiss. That they
Oh,
charge an extra $20.
although that's a different herpes, that's a different virus on your lip than the one that gets on, well, your other lip, ladies.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it's best just to avoid other people's smelly mouths, especially if they just went down on you.
A new
I'm
study
in a mood. I'm sorry.
out of Iran suggests that depression and anxiety might be transmitted through kissing too. So here's their theory on it, Jack. Their theory is that kissing causes some stress, which makes your body make cortisol. That's it. That's the intent of it. And then you kiss somebody, and that cortisol from you goes into their mouth and causes them to be depressed.
I think it's more likely that the kissing is just new for their child bride, and it makes her sad.
The authors of the new study found that when one spouse, this is the part that really killed me. The authors found that when one spouse has poor mental health and trouble sleeping, the healthy partner suffers similar symptoms after just 6 months. So, to put this in layman's terms, if you're living with a depressed person, it can depress you. But it's the kissing that causes it, Jack.
Well, you do tend to have sadder kisses, I guess.
It's not walking on eggshells or being around a downer of a person. Nope. It's the tongue-on-tongue action. Said this on Twitter, and I mean it sincerely. I am almost certain all academics are mentally retarded. We already know that if you hang around depressing people, you'll get depressed. This is something you can see over and over again. In fact, if you're in a bad space in your life, look at your friends. Look at your friends and see how many of them bitch constantly, and stop hanging out with those people. Go hang out with happy people, and you'll be amazed how much happier you are. You know why, Jack? Because misery loves company.
Yeah. And miserable people really love company because they like to complain.
Yeah.
The rest of us just do podcasts.
And it's very easy to fall into that same shit. And this is stuff that we've known for a long, long time. But no. It's the kissing. It's the kissing because your cortisol is going to apparently make your other half sad. This is such a bullshit study because if you were really trying to show that this is what causes it, have people live with depressed people and not allowed to kiss that whole time and see if they get depressed too, which they don't do. In fact, Jack, what they did was ask 250, 290, I forget the exact number, 268 newlywed Iranians. And they found, particularly among women, that if they were living with a depressed person, it made them more depressed through kissing. And this is another part where my brain went, wait a minute. I wonder if we could think of another reason a woman in Iran might get married and 6 months later be depressed.
Because she's like 10 years old and sad.
Could it be all the marital rape?
Yeah.
The oppression, the beatings? I mean, nope. It's the kissing. And this is put out as a study, and the news picks it up and like, look, kissing might make you sad. I don't even know how to deal with this level. This is leading academics, Jack.
Well, I mean, look, they got to justify their funding somehow. Here it is.
The researchers reported that the healthy spouses, particularly the women, had significant increases in depression, anxiety, and sleep difficulties after 6 months. These symptoms were not as intense in their partners. Really? So the man who doesn't have to care about the woman at all, literally, can beat her if he wants to, isn't as what's the word I'm looking for? Affected by her being weird.
Do you think that if she transfers cortisol to, or he thinks she's transferring cortisol to him, he's gonna just beat the shit out of her and really make her sad? I'll give you a reason to be sad.
Right? I wonder if cortisol smells buttery.
Oh, that's a good question. You know what
Right?
that means, though?
Yes.
Sandman was onto something.
I just need to be more positive and people won't leave me. No, I didn't say that. There's such a thing as being too positive because you just want to strangle those people.
Yeah. I mean, it never hurts to be kind of positive. Just don't get carried away with it.
No, if you do hang around, that is such an ugly picture. God bless. If you do hang around depressing, nasty people, I look at the goth kids, right? How many of those were upper middle class, and 6 months after they start hanging out with the other clad in black, my life is so sad, are just the most depressing kids you ever met.
They really are, but man, a couple of Zimas and the ones that weren't fat, good times were had. Oh, sorry, kind of drifted off there for a second. Yep, you're not wrong. They were the emos and the goths. They were just like overwhelmingly. Did you ever read the poetry of a goth girl?
Yeah.
It's
always about death and depression.
Yeah, death, depression, grief. Oh, woe is me. Oh, get over yourself. This better be worth it. Flip.
Thank you, Tyrai, for that feminist $12.
Woo.
This from one of the countries where men of a certain religious group that can temporarily be married to other women, men of this religion do not believe they commit adultery. This from the religion and that gave us such things as a woman can't claim rape unless 4 people say it happened. You got to have 4 eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
Can't imagine why the women in these marriages got depressed.
Right? They also don't have a lot of breath mints over there, so you're going to get sad a lot.
Yeah.
Ew.
I am depressing though, so people will leave me if they take your advice. Well, look, if you are one of those people who drags down the whole group, then I am talking to your friends. And I apologize for that, devil fruit. But for their sanity, don't hang around depressing people.
I've been around way more depressing people than Devil Fruit. I guarantee you. I've seen him in chat. He can hold a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Not like the fun sponges that talk about the people with the little demon that live inside them that thrive off the misery of others.
Yep.
Those people are the ones that are probably leaking cortisol. They walk in the room and they're like, "Hi guys," and no matter how much fun you were having, you're like,
There were people when I worked at Walmart, I hated when they would come into the break room, excuse me, because every time they sat down, something was wrong.
yeah, the fun sponges. I'm telling you, it's a real phenomenon.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Phenomena. Whether it was work related or their personal life, I don't remember a single story from them where they had a day that went well. And I've even known people who have had, if they have a day that goes well, they're like, something bad must be coming. And like, and not jokingly, Jack, seriously, they get anxious about how everything's going to go wrong.
Yeah, because they just expect everything to be wrong. Like, if you're so negative.
This is why I tell you guys, if you actually pay attention to your life, most of it's fine. Most of it's probably even happy. But people only concentrate on, not all, hashtag not all, concentrate on the bad stuff.
Yeah,
and the reason you do that is because it's the outlier.
Yeah, it's the noticeable part. So you tend to focus on that, and it's easy to focus on bad stuff because, let's face it, it's just like if you see a bad movie, you're gonna tell 20 people how bad it was. You see a good movie, you'll tell 5 or 6. Bad
Yeah,
experience in the store, same thing. The bad stuff is way more interesting to talk about. I mean, like, yeah, I got this great pair of shoes. That's real exciting, Jim. Thank you for that. You're like, oh, these shoes suck. The foot's coming apart. My toes are cramped up, and I think there's lice in it. You know, it's way more exciting that way. But
well,
people are just weird.
you also get more attention for that. If I'm having a good day, then that's the end of the conversation. But like, uh, so how you doing? Oh, they're like, what's wrong? That's how you get attention. If somebody asks you, how's your day going? You go, oh, it's wonderful. They don't go, really? What's so great about it? Because nobody cares if you're happy, because most people are miserable because they're stupid. You don't get attention for being happy, Jack. Unless you're too happy and then like, that dude's on drugs.
Yeah. If you're too happy. My goal is to be even keel and avoid people. Like, don't look too happy, don't look too sad, and then people won't talk to you. Because if you look too happy, they think that you've got money. And if you look too sad, they'll be like, what's wrong? And I don't want to deal with either of those people.
Therapists and researchers have long recognized that a person's mental health struggles can have a ripple effect on loved ones. This new study, yeah, because nobody wants to go hang out with the depressed person. It's depressing.
Well, yeah, it's depressing. Sometimes it's funny. It depends how real their depression is. Is it like my mom won't give me a raise in my allowance? Dude, you're 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want a raise. But those people are a treat sometimes.
This new study suggests that this impact is fueled in part by harmful mouth bacteria, and that's retarded. That's retarded. There's no reason to believe that. And this study didn't do any kind of controls to show that it was the mouth bacteria that caused it.
Scientific method, what?
Right, yeah. You need to have a control group here to even begin to call this science.
No. You just say it and then science! Because you're a scientist in Iran. That's an occupation. I'm sure that's a lot of fun to work in. Real quick though, thank you, Evolved Potato. Why would coworkers talk about their lives so much? You'd be shocked, dude.
Yep.
I don't even talk to my family about my personal life so much. Yeah, I was never a big sharer unless there was like a major issue. Especially as an adult. When you're like a teenager or something, that's different. But when you're a grown adult, if you're like 30 years old and you're whining to your parents about some stupid bullshit, they're just gonna judge you harshly. But there are a lot of people that will dump their purse out on your coffee table and tell you every single detail about their meaningless existence that you do not care about. They're always the most boring people on the planet who think every little thing is a major catastrophe. You open that door, you have to move.
I at work never really talked about personal stuff unless there was a funny story to share, because I like telling funny stories.
Yeah, it's funny.
Most of the time in the break room, I would sit there quietly listening. And that's also a bad place to be, because then you're known as a listener and people will come sit down and talk.
Yep.
They're like, strong and silent is the way to be. I'm very personable. Nobody's ever been like, Frank is so standoffish. That's not a reputation I've ever had.
Oh, I like that one. I play by prison rules in the break room. Somebody comes over, you move your food a little closer to you, put your arm out, lean forward, and kind of glare at them. And eventually people stop sitting next to you. It's awesome.
I like people, though. I really do. And I just don't like fun sponges.
I like the concept of people, but weirdos are drawn to me.
There's two kinds of people that I hated in the break room: the fun sponges and the oversharers.
Yeah. Oh, you get a double whammy sometimes where they're both. You're like, oh, great. Fucking dark unicorn of sadness here.
I still have nightmares. This one actually didn't even happen in the break room. This happened at the pharmacy because I used to work HBA, which was right next to our pharmacy. And I was over talking to one of my friends over there. And one of our coworkers comes up and shares a story about KY had just came out with their warming gel.
Oh, yeah.
And she told us how her and her husband had used it, but it was really painful because they used it as anal lube.
That's not what that's for. That's
Wait.
what Astroglide is for.
We're not done.
Oh.
And it really burned her hemorrhoids. So her asshole was ribbed for his pleasure, dude.
Yeah, that's a detail I wouldn't have wanted either.
And these are not an attractive couple.
Of course not. It's never an attractive couple.
They look like Muppets that have been left in the rain. Oh God, I almost gagged when she said it because it really hurt my hemorrhoids. Like, oh,
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
I'm gonna go over here and find something to bleach out my brain.
You can't get rid of that memory.
Why would you do anal if you have hemorrhoids? You'd have to ask her. And why would you tell literally anybody that story?
That's the real question, I think. Look, what kind of weird kinks you have is your thing, but first of all, always do your product research. Find out what there's like the generic brand lubricants that are really good, like the Kroger brand and the Meyer brand. They're great for butt stuff. Astroglide, fantastic. And they even make some specific butt lubes. You don't get anything that will intensify pleasure because that's probably going to cause heat. And never, ever, like one of my friends found out, use icy hot.
This one is specifically made to get warmer as you use it.
Yep.
And she put it on hemorrhoids.
Yep. That'll tear you up.
Like what? Do the hemorrhoids not burn enough on their own? Sure.
I mean,
no, we had two couples that were into the oversharing thing, and they were both so gross.
Yeah, those are the people that want to overshare because they're icky, and they don't realize. Really, really hideous people. Sometimes they don't recognize that they're hideous monsters. They think you're just jealous. And because they hook up with other hideous monsters, they think that they're like studs or whatever. And they will tell you all sorts of horrific things that you don't want to know about. And you're like, you are one of the ugliest troglodytes I've ever seen. Troll 3 could be about you. And they just... they're like, no, you're wrong. Let me tell you why. As they scratched like the 30 warts on their bare chest. Ugh.
Yeah, I those ones, I would actually rather listen to. Well, no, I was gonna say I'd rather listen to the depressing people, but the other ones give me funny stories to talk about. So I guess there is some value there.
It's always a trade-off. You have to experience them, but you get a funny story out of it. So.
All right, I'm just going to warn you, I might offend some people here who believe in this hippie bullshit, but we got to talk about...
After what we just talked about, you're not worried about offending the audience.
We have to talk about breath work.
Oh, God.
Breath work. I saw this video pop up, and the person who tweeted it out said, breath work really helps you deal with your past traumas, or some stupid gay hippie shit like that. Oh, I haven't called anybody specifically gay today. I'm trying to be sensitive for Pride Month, Jack. So,
yeah. Oh, I thought you were just going to be nice to Hunter Avalon this week.
Eric Swalwell is a gay man. He's totally gay. Just saying.
That explains the farting.
Yeah, he can't control it. The screen, for those of you who are just listening along, I apologize for what's about to happen. But the screen says, this is what releasing years of trauma looks like. That last part there kind of looks like he was jerking the guy off, which maybe that would help relieve some trauma.
This looks more like a kidnapping ransom video, like
Right?
a proof of life. You got this sensory deprivation going on with the headphones and the eye covering, and a guy screaming while writhing on the floor. How is this not a kidnapping?
Is he being exercised? I don't fucking. Supposedly, what this is you're supposed to incorporate breathing into your other exercises where you scream a lot.
Yeah,
Which
it's part of the breathing, screaming, same
I've
thing,
been
right?
breathing for 50 years and have done most of it without screaming.
Um, I see what you're saying, but maybe that's why you're suppressing all your inner traumas, monkey.
It looks like they're being traumatized. No, you know what this is? This is performative bullshit. That's what this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's the let it all out by screaming bullshit. That's why you get the like drum noise. Oh, we're gonna do a little drum circle. I'll play the drum and you tell me all about your sadness.
You have grown ass adults being taught to act like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum.
Yes.
And they're like, look, this is therapeutic.
Have you ever watched the rebirthing ceremonies that they do? Oh, we're gonna wrap you up in these warm blankets and you'll be warm, and then you'll emerge like a newborn baby, and they'll start crying and shit. It's really fucking weird. It's a bunch of new age hippie bullshit. Fucking hate it. It's worthless. It works for highly emotional people. Like if you're an emotional basket case, this stuff might work for you to some degree, but that's because you're an emotional basket case.
I look, there's times to scream.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to give you an immediate rush of endorphins. I'm saying that for long-term trauma, laying on the floor and letting some weird dude touch your chest while you writhe around and scream isn't fixing anything.
I have a theory on that. See, that hand has tattoo on it. Maybe he's holding him down with one hand, and the other hand is affixing electrodes to his nutsack.
If you look at this picture, I jumped it ahead. This is at the end of the video where they move the camera way up, and it really does look like he's masturbating the dude.
Yeah.
He's like giving him a handy.
He's got a blankie on there, so.
Yep, got a nice blankie. Got sensory deprivation, just scream and kick around like a little child. I fucking hate adults, man.
I hate weirdo hippie shit. The new age bullshit. You're just doing a bunch of made up exercises that are designed to let you make emotional noises and bother other people about it later. It's very enriching. It nourished my soul because I was able to release these feelings I had pent up. Well, why'd you have them pent up? Because you're fucking crazy. I would make a terrible therapist.
No, you wouldn't, because this is this nonsense here of, okay, you're a little overwhelmed, so what you need to do is act like a child, is not what we should be teaching adults. We should be teaching adults how to deal with this feeling in a rational way.
In a healthy way. This is not healthy. This is dangerous.
This is childish.
Yeah.
And I want to say again, I'm going to turn off the volume. We're going to watch this in full without the volume on. Look how performative this shit is. No. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to go to bed.
You can't make
it to me. God damn. We should not be encouraging adults to act like little children who haven't learned how to control their emotions yet.
It's like the opening before the credits crawl of an SVU episode. Real quick, thank you, Keldrick. This looks more like a fetish created by trauma than a remedy for trauma. Yes. Yes, it does.
I'd like to know the trauma involved too. Like that last one.
Andy's like, under the blanket.
Yeah, I wonder if like the second guy here, his trauma is related to being touched by somebody inappropriately.
Oh, I thought it was the same guy.
No, these are two different people. Notice that the tan skin on this one compared to the red skin on this one. Yeah, they're both
I don't,
people.
red skin, really, monkey?
Oh, I did see something about Elizabeth Warren earlier, so maybe that's what put it in there. But no, he's got that red skin. He's also going to give himself a stroke doing this. Look at the fucking veins popping.
Yeah, elevating your own blood pressure like that is not safe, especially as you get older. But that might be part of why he feels better afterward, because he raised his blood pressure so much it crashes later,
Yeah,
and then you
that,
get that like tired feeling. So he thinks that he's achieved something, and really you're just stupid.
it's a similar response to like a runner's high. You get your heart
Yeah,
rate going real fast, and you actually do feel better for a little while. Unless you're me, because I hate fucking running.
yeah. I only run if something's chasing me. Fuck that.
I'm so tired of this shit, man. Why are so many adults so desperate to be kids again?
Well, they're looking for easy solutions to life's problems. And when did you
Okay,
have your fewest problems? When you were a kid.
that's not true. I was constantly being told what to do, and I don't like being told what to do.
No, but you didn't have to worry about, like, if I don't make the rent this week, I'm gonna be fucking homeless, or my power's gonna get shut off. There's all these responsibilities that so many people are not prepared for, that it is traumatic to them because nobody prepared them for the consequences that come with life. So they're completely unprepared, and they want to regress back to the safety of being 25 again. I mean 15.
But see, you said you, and I took that as the personal you rather than the general you. You're
No, that's
right.
the general you.
You're right. You're right. For me, I mean, it wasn't like that. I mean, one, when it comes to you're an adult, go out there, get a job, pay your bills, and if you can't make them all, then make the ones you can and live. You'll be fine.
Yeah, figure out which ones you can skate on, and like it
Yeah,
usually takes 2 months before they turn your gas off.
you'll be
They'll
fine.
write
Yeah.
termination on that bill, trust me.
The that see, even when we were much less well off, Jack, than we are right now, and by that I mean dirt poor, raising our
Yeah.
kids. That was a stressful thing, but not stressful enough where I want my mommy to take care of me. It was like, shit, I got to do something.
If you told Lady Monkey that you were going to go to and you were serious, you were going to go to a session where you could release your inner trauma by doing breathing work, I think she'd leave you.
Probably. And she stuck with me through a lot of shit.
Yeah, but if you got weird like this, maybe she'd let it go the first time, be like, all right, well, try it, see if it helps. And it's weird, and I find it stupid, but, whatever. The second time, and you got all serious about it, I'd be, it
All right,
seems very emasculating.
this is going to get us in trouble because of the word I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
I want to start fag therapy. Hear me out. I think it would be much better for men to just get in a group and sit around insulting each other and calling each other fags than to do that shit.
I think you have to be very explicit in your advertising, or you're going to attract people that think it's something else.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about conversion. Yeah, you're right. That does kind of, How about calling fag therapy? We'll do it that way. I think if you let men be men and laugh and joke around, it would be way more beneficial to their mental health than screaming like a fucking weirdo. Sounds kind of gay. Not nearly as gay as what we just watched.
Yeah. I mean, there's dudes at bathhouses that aren't this gay.
Yeah. Just let men get together and rip on each other without having to worry that it'll get out on the internet that they used a gamer word, and let them just have fun. That will do so much more for their mental health than acting like a screaming child little girl.
I think we've seen an uptick in this sort of thing because they've gotten rid of like the gentlemen's clubs.
Oh yeah.
Where you didn't have to worry about women coming in and toying with everything. You could just have fun with the guys, And you could ban cell phones nowadays with it and say no cell phones, no photos, nothing like that. Whatever happens in the building, unless it's a murder, it's kind of just stays in Fight Club. I think that would bringing back those like gentlemen's clubs kind of thing would really be beneficial to men. But they want to demasculinize the world and make everybody a bunch of crying vaginas. And this is the shit that happens. This is what we get.
Yeah, stop trying to treat men like women. I've heard women talk about how sometimes I just need to scream. Like, well, then fucking do it.
Yeah, go out to your little bleeding shack and do that during your monthly mess. Real quick, thank you, Evolve Potato. Something my parents did when I was young was give me $10 every Friday and not have lunch made because we usually bring lunches to school in Australia. I would either save it and spend it on games, but not eat. Yeah, I would have skipped a meal too. Eat well and no game or balance it. Whenever I got extra money, I tried not to spend it on food because I would spend it on comic books or other fun stuff. And I was really bad with money as a kid. So it's like, oh, this shiny thing caught my attention. But if somebody handed me $10, yeah, I'd skip lunch and use it on something fun.
A Victorian men's club, only men reading the papers in silence and a butler bringing fresh drinks. No, I want to I want like a Yo Mama club, right? Where everybody just gets in there and they rip on each other. Everybody has a good time. Everybody knows it's not personal. It's just for fun. You're making fun of the fat one, the tall one, the big nosed one, the bald one. Everybody just has fun.
Everybody gets made fun of too.
Yep. And if you're in there and you notice you haven't been made fun of, you make fun of yourself. Like I'm so worthless. You guys won't even make fun of me. That's a little too close to home. No, I think that we need man solutions to man problems instead of woman solutions to man problems.
Well, that's always been the case, but they don't want to do that anymore.
And for the record, that doesn't mean going out with your buddies in the woods and dressing like Aborigines and dancing around praying for rain while your balls flop in each other's faces. That's not it either.
No, that's just a precursor to gay sex.
Yeah.
That's hella
That's
gay.
the start I never want to see.
Yeah. It's, like that scene in the erotic adventures of the Three Musketeers where one of the Three Musketeers sees a bunch of monks dancing around in a circle. He's like, and they were naked and they started chanting, "Close the circle, brothers."
That kind of stuff, they're like, it gets into your primal being. Okay, no. These were hunters and gatherers, and all that yelling and shit would have scared away the animals.
Yeah, you do some stealth hunting, or like paintball, I think would be the modern equivalent.
Dark Resurrect, thanks so much for that feminist $12. Woo. A club of MW2 Modern Warfare 2 lobby shit talk would solve a lot of problems with men. Yes, it would. 100%.
Yeah.
One, in order to even go in there, you'd have to get a thick enough skin to be in there. And a lot of men today need thicker skin because y'all act like fucking women.
Well, they were raised with that shit. They don't know any different. And let's face it, there is a really big problem in this country with men not having dads in their lives to tell them to suck it the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, we actually had a feminist push to get rid of the phrase "man up." How dare you tell somebody to man the fuck up?
Yeah.
Especially if you get offended at man up, you little bitch.
Yeah, put your lady balls away and stop whining.
There is nothing wrong with women acting like women. They are women. Men, you shouldn't be.
A lot of this stuff that we just watched on the screen came from that drum circle shit from the 80s.
Yep.
We're going to do a man's retreat where we go out in the woods and cry and tell each other our problems in a drum circle. Oh my God. I remember as a kid seeing that on some sitcom. And I'm like, the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you watch like the A-Team and you're like, that's how I want to deal with my problems. Explosions and gunplay.
Yes. I want
But
to
no.
build a rig out of mom's car that I can drive through a building and take care of my problems.
Yeah. In 2 easy steps. Not only do I get to build something, I get to break something too. It's a win-win. But no, they don't encourage you to channel that energy into something productively masculine. Well, men like to build things and go out and tinker in their shops and repair stuff and whatever else, hunt things. I don't know, whatever you do in your free time. But they don't encourage that anymore. They encourage you to talk about your feelings, whine about it. No, that's what chicks do. They sit around and have those little powwows. Not men. Men, they go out and they hunt animals together, play paintball.
Eagle says I saw that shit back in the 70s. It actually has its roots in the 60s, but in the 80s there was this big push for this stuff. It had happened before, but what, maybe 85, 86ish, mid 80s is where you start to see the rise of the metrosexual, even though they don't call it that for another decade, of men getting in touch with their feelings. And part of it was go out into the woods. You had two groups of thought: go to therapy and cry, or two, go out into the woods and scream like a fucking moron.
Yeah, Eagle's right. All they do is repackage this shit.
Yeah, true, 100%.
Yeah, and they've been doing it for decades, and it didn't really catch on for a while, but it kind of caught on with the pussies, because even gay men find this shit annoying.
One of the reasons that it had such a rise in the 80s was talk shows, because people like Oprah and Sally Jesse and them would bring on these leaders of these groups to talk to men about how you deal with these problems. Before that, it was like a self-help book, and 5 hippies from Long Island were like, we're going to go yell in the woods.
Yeah.
It got really normalized in the 80s with the talk shows.
Yeah, Donahue and
yep.
Sally Jesse, and you're right, Oprah and all that shit. Yeah, it really kind of caught on there because women saw it and they encouraged their husbands to go do that shit.
You seem angry. Do you want to go be gay in the woods with your friends? It'll make you feel better. Oh my God. Anyway, Cosby sweaters, we were warned. I have no idea what that comment is even about. So why don't we do that? It confuses me most of the time, Jack.
Oh, I try not to think about Cosby. My head gets all fuzzy and then my butt hurts.
I still laugh when all that stuff was coming out. I can't remember if my brother or my son, one of the two, sent me the picture of Bill Cosby with a pudding pop, says, I love pudding, putting my dick where it don't belong.
Yeah.
And I still fucking laugh every time I even think about it. I still say Cosby did nothing wrong. There's no proof he actually did anything wrong.
No, it was the same thing with a lot of the Weinstein accusers. You slept with him to get ahead and it didn't work out for you. Hold on, let me get a bucket for all the tears I'm gonna shed for you. Oh, that's a shot glass. I'm sorry.
Well, they love to point to his deposition where he admits he got drugs for the women.
Yeah, it's an aphrodisiac.
In that, it is for the two of them to enjoy, not to knock her out and take advantage of her. And they're like, nobody in the 70s would have done drugs and fucked somebody to get ahead in life. Especially not in Hollywood.
Oh my God, in Hollywood? Oh, they're notoriously wholesome over there.
Roman Polanski did that shit to a 13-year-old, anally raped her, and they think he's a fucking god.
Yeah. Well,
But Cosby banged a couple of actresses who wanted to get ahead in life because he was very powerful in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, they get the chance to be like, I get a second chance at being famous for fucking this guy? He drugged me and raped me. Get fucked. Thank you, Comrade Kitty, for becoming a member for month number 23. Thank you. Nice. Go out into the woods, meet that bear the women pick, and get mauled, uh, be a get mauled, be a man, scream, punch, survive, and come back with a scar. Yes, and a new rug.
Yeah.
Nah, you don't. We don't need to be going off into the woods unless you like hunting and camping. In which case, I get the hunting part. Food, camping. I don't know why you don't like being warm and comfortable, but whatever. But if you're just doing it, you're going out there with a group of guys to yell at the sky. I'm gonna call you gay, and you're gonna deserve it.
Yeah. You want to get all primal and go out and hunt stuff? That's fine. You want to go scream in the woods? That's
Yeah.
weird.
You ever notice that that's what it is? Because, like, look, if you want to get in touch with your primal self, go out there and hunt a fucking buffalo with a spear. Go try that shit. Go catch a wild boar and kill that motherfucker with just your bare hands
Yeah, good
or a
luck with
rock.
that.
It's always go scream. Yeah, that's what our ancestors.
I would be intimidated by going out in the woods and seeing a bunch of dudes with like face paint on and they just have primal weaponry, some spears with like flint heads. That would freak me out. I see a bunch of like dudes wearing khakis screaming at the sky. I'm going to be worried that they're going to kidnap me and murder me. Like way more than I would be worried about the hunters. At least I stand a chance. I know where I stand with the hunters. The other guys are probably going to rape your corpse.
Camping is fun. No, you have to understand. I am a city boy through and through. I like my creature comforts. There's nothing fun about going to sleep and the temperature drops 40 degrees and no heater kicks on. And you're just like, this sleeping bag sure is cold as fuck.
Well, you should have got a winterized sleeping bag then, monkey. You know they
No,
rape
no,
those
no.
things.
I should sleep in the house where man is meant to sleep.
Well, you see, you appreciate your home more by practicing being homeless.
I do not. I've called it LARPing as homeless for a long, long time because that's what you're doing. Literally, I go look at Skid Row in Los Angeles and look at all that fun camping that's going on.
That they're called professional outdoorsmen, monkey.
Yeah,
They're not hobos anymore.
they're just getting in touch with their primal self.
Yeah, they're just out there experiencing the primitive lifestyle and heroin.
Prepping for the coming zombie apocalypse. Well, here's what happens. If the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm not going to leave my house and go live in canvas for safety.
Look, there's a lot to be said for that vinyl. Once you label it Eureka, it's zombie proof. That's just science.
It's waterproof and zombie proof.
Yeah.
No, I'm still going to live in my house. I might have to shit in the woods, but I'm not going to live there.
No, you shit in a bucket and pour it out on the zombies.
Oh, there you go. It helps keep them away.
Well,
No,
it
I've
helps
never
attract the
understood
flies
camping.
and maggot larvae.
First time we're going camping, they're pumping it up and how fun it's going to be. I was bored out of my fucking mind. All my toys were at home.
Yeah.
Like, look, trees. There's a bird.
I mean, I had fun in Boy Scouts. It was a lot of work, though. Like, nobody tells you how much work being a hobo is. Like, you got to put up a tent. You got to go look for firewood. You got to clear an area for safety, blah, blah, blah. You got to chop firewood occasionally. And people bring the wrong type of axe for it because they don't know there's two kinds of axes. And then you got to deal with the idiot that'll run around with the axe recklessly. And then somebody inevitably gets hurt.
I have no desire to live like my ancestors. They had it really rough. There's no point in history I want to go back to. You know, like that question. If you
Yeah.
could go back to any time in history, what time would you go to? I'd be like, yesterday.
Yeah, because we have a lot of really cool stuff now.
I don't want to be primal and live in squalor.
Yeah. Not a big fan. I don't like being poor now. I don't want to be even poorer. or be reminded of my possible future.
You
But
can't
I went
set.
camping a lot as a young person. I'm like, I'm kind of done with that now.
Bob says you can't set fires in most of the suburbs. That's a very vague statement.
Yeah, I mean, legally, no, but
Remember our rule: you cannot make us an accessory.
yeah, no felonies in chat about your
No
weird
felonies in
arson
chat.
hobbies.
I like fire as much as the next guy, but I have a grill, Jack, and you can get a fireplace if you want. You can even get little fire pits that most places will let you use. I'm just not that enamored with it that I'm like, I want to go live in a tent for a week and freeze my ass off and make my own warmth. I hate people. You go out camping and everybody's sitting around the fire like, oh, it's so warm. Like, you can't feel that shit. My back is cold. There's a tiny bit of heat coming from that way. If I was home, I could make it 70 degrees instantly. All I got to do is turn a dial.
You know what
actually,
you don't have to pay for, Monkey?
What's that?
Fire.
That's fair. That's fair. However, I'm willing to pay for a little comfort and for my whole body to be warm instead of just what little bit the heat is getting to. Plus, you know what I've never done? I've never fallen into my heater and burned my skin off.
You're doing it wrong.
I have a friend, one of my friends from childhood. She was at a bonfire, fell into the fucker, burned off all of the skin on the back of her legs and her lower back.
We played nighttime capture the flag once in Boy Scouts, and they waited till the fire went out and got a bunch of the soot and put it all over their faces. And our team was like, why are they wearing like blackface? And it turned out that one of the kids on that team had thrown a couple logs in that had poison oak on it. So they all had big outbreaks on their faces.
You know, that's I've never done. I've never accidentally rubbed up against something in my house and gotten poison ivy on me.
I have indoor-outdoor cats. They'll go through poison ivy and then give it to you.
I've had lots of cats. Never had that happen.
I am incredibly susceptible to poison ivy.
Damn.
Yeah. I have gotten it from pets before.
Don't be pass out drunk near a fire. She wasn't pass out drunk. She wasn't even drunk. She just is klutzy.
Yeah. You got to keep them away from fire.
Yeah. I have a healthy respect for fire, which you should have, but you go to like a bonfire. I do not go to bonfires because
everybody gets stupid.
Let's light a giant fire and get drunk. Yeah, that sounds like want to bring weapons while we're at it.
Oh, I have seen. Yeah, people throw all kinds of shit in those things. They'll throw fireworks in there. I saw a guy throw a bullet in there, and I was like, I'm out. Not dealing with this shit. But yeah, then somebody throwing gasoline on there. I'm like, you're gonna die. Just random shit, just to see what'll happen.
There are very few outdoor activities where you're not going to run into a moron who's going to ruin it for everybody, even if you do like it.
Yeah, especially if alcohol's involved.
Yep. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of going to firework displays, because there's always some drunk ass redneck lighting off his own thing and burning people up. Good job, jackass.
What I hated was my friends in like college. They knew I was a Boy Scout, so they knew I knew how to do first aid. So guess who had to treat all the stupid injuries? I'm not your fucking medic because I'm really bad at it.
That's what you get for being prepared, my friend.
Yeah. It's so many dumb people.
Okay, I got to talk about this. Sorry, we got to bring it back to some news, Jack, because this really pissed me off today.
A lot of things pissed you off today, I think.
I enjoy being pissed off.
Yeah, it's something to do.
Yeah, see, I'm not like most people. They're like, you got to let stuff go. I actually get good stress from this kind of stuff.
Have you gone out in the woods to scream at the trees yet?
No, I just look at my monitor and go, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, so before we get on with this, makes me wonder what the trees think. Like, why is that guy yelling at me?
Do you think trees sit around going, if a person screams in a city, is anybody around to hear it?
Does anybody care there either? 'Cause
Ken Diliani, who is a legal professional for NBC News here, what is it? He's the NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent. So
okay,
you just know his take is going to be great, Jack.
sure.
Worth noting that flamethrowers are legal and commercially available for sale. Elon Musk company even sold one several years ago. Now, if anybody's not familiar with the story that brought this up, you might be going, well, he's right. And yeah, he is kind of right, except for one, Elon's thing wasn't really a flamethrower. It was a flamethrower in the same way as holding a lighter and a can of hairspray is a flamethrower.
Recklessly dangerous.
Yes. But this is just an attempt to kind of downplay the Jew lighter.
Yeah. The guy throwing Molotov cocktails in a homemade flamethrower. Yeah. Because anti-Semites would go to extreme lengths to justify their irrational hatred of the Jews.
These are people who couldn't see what was wrong with Biden, and they're now going, but it's okay to light Jews on fire.
Yeah, because Gaza, genocide, talking points.
Let's even grant his premise that you can absolutely own a flamethrower. Sure.
But I don't think
but that's not the question.
Yeah.
The question is, should you be shooting it at Jews or anyone? That's the real question there. It's legal to own guns, Jack. You shouldn't be shooting people randomly.
Yeah, you should go waving them around. That's called brandishing, and it's a crime. Don't do that.
But gotta obfuscate. Fuck that word. You have to hide the real issue.
You said it right.
I don't care. I don't like how it sounds. Whoever came up with that word was an asshole, and I hope they died painfully. Anyway, they have to distort the issue. Like, no, but it's perfectly legal to have a... Nobody's talking about whether or not it's legal to have a fucking flamethrower.
Yeah, you're not supposed to cook people with it. That's pretty sure that's a crime.
You know what's not legal to have? Incendiary devices.
Especially homemade, unregulated ones.
Homemade Molotovs that he made with gasoline and bottles from Target, which, by the way, there's a story out there that basically tells you how to make one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not that hard.
I'm not sharing that, but it is a mainstream news article that even tells you what kind of bottles he bought. Jeez. Yeah. Wonder what could happen there. But yeah, so he went to Target, picked up 2 different kinds of bottles, Jack, goes to a gas station, then stops off and makes his little Molotovs. 87% octane, Jack.
Wow, he's cheap too. He didn't even get the premium stuff.
He bought the cheapest stuff he could buy.
That's just poor pride in the workplace, man. No, there's no craftsmanship anymore. It's just like, you can get the cheapest shit possible. Ugh. I hear Ted Kaczynski rolling in his grave.
That's the height of anti-Semitism there. I'm even going to use the cheap gas to burn these Jews.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. He's not against Jews. No.
Right.
Because of course not. He's against Zionists.
Yeah, those elderly and babies out there, they were clearly Zionist. Whatever.
Yeah, the people who got burned were between the ages of, I think it's 52 and 88.
Yeah.
And they were out there to raise awareness. Again, I don't think protests work, but they were there to raise awareness about hostages. And he's like, I'm going to burn those Zionists.
Now, is it just me, or are people confusing Jews and witches? Because witches are made of wood. That's why they burn and float.
I thought they were made of sugar. That's why they melt.
No, that was just that's in the multiverse of Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
an
Okay.
entirely different planet. But yeah, here on Earth, witches are made of wood because they burn and they float. I think they're confusing them with Jewish people somehow.
Matthew, thank you. Or not thank you. Your birthday was yesterday. This is for you. Matthew, a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday, dear Matthew.
Dear Matthew.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday. Hope you had a good one. Really, really do. I've gotten really silent in my singing lately. I'm doing it all sexy.
Yeah, you've been very subdued.
Yeah. I get in habits with how I sing that song.
Oh.
But yeah, I hope you had a good one, my friend. I really, really do. Yeah, I just saw this thing and like, of course, this is the media's take on it. We got to pretend that burning Jews isn't the actual thing we're talking about here. It's whether or not it's legal to own one.
Well, they're sympathetic to it, so
Yeah, of course
they don't give a shit.
I saw somebody call Greta Thunberg one of the greatest icons of the 21st century.
I saw that post, and yeah, that person's dumb.
I deleted before I made my final comment. I deleted 3 comments that I thought would absolutely get me kicked off of X. The first one I was going to put is, what is it with you Muslims and your worship of little girls? Like,
yeah, you know why.
And then my other one that I remember was, of course, the people who follow a pedophile fetishize little girls.
Yeah.
That one will get me in a little trouble too.
Probably. It does seem weird though that so many of their heroes are kind of downsy.
What's amazing to me is watching these Muslims championing this little white girl. Like if she was over there, they wouldn't have her in a kitchen in a veil, her whole body covered down to her toes, because don't want anybody to see your pinky toe. They might get a boner.
Yeah.
She's an icon. Bitch, you would treat her like every other woman in the Middle East if she was over there. You wouldn't even be able to see her downsy looking ass.
Yeah, she'd either be wearing the garbage bag or they'd be human trafficking her.
Yeah. I love when they hide behind women, though, as they treat them like shit in their native tongue.
Well, it's they'll use whoever they can to gain a foothold in your country to conquer it.
Fucking, I saw somebody the other day. How did Jews convince Christians to hate Muslims? And my genuine question is, how did the Muslims get anybody to like them?
They mostly just conquered places and we're in charge now and you're going to like us.
And you're fine. I get that. But I'm talking in the Western world.
Oh, they're brown, so they're sympathetic because white people are evil. That seems to be the crux of it right there.
Like, how did the Jews get the Christians to hate Muslims? Pointed at them? I don't fucking know. Showed them their book?
The Muslims kept attacking their villages. They're like, hey guys, I think the problem's over there. Those bastards, they're pointing.
Oddly enough, it was a Muslim asking that question. He did not answer me when I asked how Muslims got anyone to like them. I guess he didn't want to have that conversation.
No, because it was all conquest and liberal guilt.
Yeah, that's what it is in the Western world. If you look at the rise of the noble, savage Muslim, that's what I'm going to call him now.
Mm-hmm.
It's after 9/11. The largest terrorist attack in American history, brought about by Muslims who blew up 2 buildings that they tried blowing up years before. And the propaganda came down, be nice to them. The people who call me an infidel and think that infidels can be killed at will?
Yeah.
Weird. I have to be nice to them, huh?
Well, you're different, and you're a colonizer.
Yeah, I am, I guess. Not like those conquerors. They're not colonizers, Jack. They're conquerors. So that's fine.
Real quick. Thank you, Keldrick. The Christians didn't need convincing. The Muslims have been killing us for the entire existence of Islam, all 1,300 years of it.
Yep.
Yeah, the Jews were just like, hey, I think we might have a common problem here.
Yep. Because people like a convenient lie.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. But it's more about the timing of it. I mean, we're coming into the 2000s, right? It's 2001, and you already have the rise of the intersectional bullshit. And they're like, this is an oppressed group. Forget that they control large swaths of the map. Fuck that. They're so oppressed here in the United States because somebody called them a terrorist. Oh no. And so they had a new group that they could rally behind, and especially stick it to those damn Christians. Because those damn Christians have caused and the Jews. Forgot them. But it's mostly about the Christians in the United States, Jack.
Yeah.
So you have the atheist. Remember Atheism Plus?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff all melds together. You're right about the convenient lie part of it, but the selling point on it was the oppression. And goddamn it, bored little fucking Americans don't love to bitch about oppression that they don't suffer from. Everything's so oppressed. Fuck off, pussy.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the world would be a better place if we just started calling all the pussies pussies.
I think it would definitely help.
They should have to wear a magenta P on their chest. I'm just saying. Anyway, moving along. I actually don't have anything else to move along to, but I see you brought something here.
Oh, yeah.
I need to urinate. That's my I need to
pee.
urinate song, if you couldn't tell.
If you gotta go pee, go pee.
Oh, thank you. That would work so much better if I had face cam on. I could have done the Steve Martin thing. I'll be right back.
Classic. That was from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels for you heathens that don't know that. Real quick, thank you, Tyrai. When I was deployed back in 2004, Iraqis we watched work would show magazine clippings of women that looked like Hillary does now and say, this beautiful woman. The men were very corny in that religion. Ugh. Now, for a second, I thought you meant Hillary Duff, and then I realized who you really meant. Yikes. Hillary Duff. She aged well. Not like Hillary Clinton, who aged like somebody who sold their soul to Satan. Yeah, men that don't see a lot of women, they'll take something that is at best a 3 and be like, this is so hot. Because, they don't see a lot of women. So the guy who hates Jews is being thrifty. How ironic. Yeah, that seems like cultural appropriation. Hillary looked 40 when she was 20. Yeah, I think so. It's because really bitter people age poorly. You'll age a lot better if you just don't have a stick up your butt and get angry at everything. Hi, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Oh boy, you guys have a good day today. It was really warm here. I detest the hot streaks of summer that we get here. It was nice and cool for like an extra month this year, and I was like, awesome. We're gonna have a long, cool winter or summer rather. It's gonna be great. Mild winter, that'd be amazing. And then it was like 80 degrees today, and I was pissed.
Sorry about that. Phoebe needed pet too.
Yeah, I figured. It's like he's not peeing; he's playing with the cat.
She's been very focused on me lately, and I cannot come out of this room without her running at me and meowing incessantly. Like, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up.
Give me treats, give me treats.
It's not even, she doesn't, I mean, she eats treats like once a day, and she will absolutely ignore treats from time to time. Like, I don't want those right now. She's a weird cat, man.
My cat's like perpetually stoned. The thing's always like, give me some fucking snacks or I'll cut you.
She's so spoiled that she can be like, I'll eat those snacks later. You'll get me fresh ones if I want them.
Well, you will, won't you?
I absolutely would. She deserves it. My living room looks like we're becoming hoarders, I realize, because there's packing paper laying in the floor. There's what looks like an empty grocery bag just kind of laying there. It looks like we just throw trash around, and they're both toys for my cats.
What are you, Ricada?
Yes.
Real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Speaking about Muslims, the Egyptians are planning of seizing the land of an Orthodox Christian monastery that has existed for longer than Islam has been around, apparently planning to turn it into a museum. Yeah, and it'll probably be a mosque as well, because remember, under a majority of Muslim teachings, anything that came before Islam, it doesn't exist.
Wasn't there a story like this not that long ago about two different countries?
Probably.
I swear we read one like this. I don't remember the countries involved. Netherlands accuses Belgium of stealing wind from their turbines. Maybe it was just two states. I don't remember, but maybe a year ago?
I don't know. This is the first I heard about it. Somebody, Victoria on my timeline posted this. Thank you, Vicky. And I was like, this is insane. This is the stupidest fucking thing I've heard in a long time. But this is what you get nowadays. This is politics in Europe.
Somebody help me out here. I'm not crazy on this. I swear. And again, not this story, because this one is brand new. But I swear we heard one like this about two other countries having this issue. How do you steal wind? By putting your turbine in front of the stream of air that goes to where they are. Okay. A lot of the air in Michigan comes down from Canada. So if Canada put up some wind turbines right at the border, and then our wind turbines weren't turning as fast, you go, oh, you're stealing our wind. It's retarded, by the way. The turbines would have to be so close together that neither one of them would really work for this to be an issue.
I'm picturing Vanessa Williams singing "Stealing All the Colors of the Wind."
I fucking hate that song, and I don't know what it means.
I don't know. I've never seen the wind have a color, so it's usually like transparent. But I don't see all the spectrum of colors.
The only time I've seen the wind have a color is like in a war movie when they throw a red grenade, smoke grenade, and then it's the smoke that's colored, not the wind.
Yeah.
I've never understood that song. It's another one of those things that makes me unnecessarily angry because it makes no goddamn sense.
I think it makes sense if you're a reptilian because you see it a different color spectrum.
But wind has no color.
Not to the human eye, but to the reptilian eye it might, because we only see a very narrow band of the color spectrum.
I'm sticking by my previous statement. Wind has no color. Anyway.
Reptilians, I'm telling you.
We've all heard of squabbles over downstream water rights. Water rights, you actually have an issue. That can be a problem. It turns out wind is being disputed in a similar way. Belgian accused of stealing wind from the Dutch. Dutch weather expert says Belgian wind farms have an important advantage over those of their Dutch neighbors. Wait, the wind farms are in the water?
Yeah, so they could kill birds and ocean life. It's a 2-for-1.
I hate the world, Jack.
I know, buddy. I know. I like that they put the picture of Kevin laughing in there.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate.
It's not just about the energy given to the turbine blades, but also the turbulence created behind them, which can stretch for miles and change the wind direction. What? Turbulence doesn't make the wind suddenly start going east to west when it was going north to south.
You don't know. You're not a wind expert.
I was with them in the wake and that disrupting a little bit, but it's not going to change the direction of it.
Yeah, they got an airbender out there. Aang is just like moving the wind away from the Netherlands. He's like, "Fuck you, Netherlands."
It's not like putting up a wall and the wind hits it and then goes off to the side.
Jesus yes, that's how wind works, monkey. You don't know. You're not a turbinist. Do you have a wind tunnel at home? No, you don't.
This is what I thought that said woke. Wake effect is about Dr. Thomas something I'm not even going to pretend to say, director of the Offshore Wind Energy Center at the Maritime University of Gdynia. Is that how you say that?
Wow.
Gay stuff. Said, adding that if the wind turbines are aligned with each successive one, the wind weakens. Well, only short term and only within the effect of that turbine. Using this logic, if we got enough wind turbines together, we could stop a fucking tornado.
I mean, clearly. Wind versus wind action. You know what? You get a bunch of wind turbines. You could chop up all of those sharks in the Sharknado with
yes. That should have been how they solved the problem in Sharknado.
We could have written that movie so much better.
A drunk monkey with a typewriter could have written it better, but that's the charm of Sharknado.
It's too self-aware.
Yeah, you're right. A movie like that, you've got to really commit to.
Yeah, you got to play it straight. That's what makes it funny.
There's like 6 of those movies. Yeah, I know. When I found that out, I cried a little.
Have you ever seen any of the knockoffs?
No.
I've got a copy of Catnado and Clownnado.
Now I need a Catnado.
Yeah, it's all the budget you'd expect for like $50.
Somebody just tosses a cat onto a sofa and they're like, look, they're flying now.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, people have like stuffed cats on their face. They're wrestling going, no, help me. It was probably a better budget and slightly better quality than Birdemic, but kind of get the idea, like that comparison.
Hamsternado, I would watch that. I like hamsters. Hamsters are the only acceptable rodent.
Is that like if Richard Gere has like the really bad farts, or?
No, you don't let Richard Gere, and those are gerbils.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
my bad. Speculation.
When I was a kid, we had hamsters, and I'd heard of gerbils, but never saw one. And then I saw one. I'm like, what the fuck is that ugly thing?
Right? They're hideous. Hamsters are just like slightly cuter rats. Gerbils, you're like, what? Is that Tribble?
It's like somebody went, oh, rats are gross. I bet if we made them furry, they'd be cute. And they are. But I don't know why this just entered my head. You ever seen a newborn rabbit?
I don't think so.
We used to raise rabbits. My daughter in 4-H would show the rabbits, and we had several of them. And here's a gross story. A rabbit once ejaculated on my wife. You can't keep a male and female rabbit together. They'll kill each other. So you put them together for breeding, and then you you do it in the girl's cage because otherwise there's problems. So you put the male
sleep in the wet stain.
Yeah, you put the male in there, and then when they're done copulating, you pull them back out. Fornicating for you Christians out there.
Yeah, they're not married.
So Lady Monkey pulls out the rabbit, and he just starts going to town on her shoulder real fast and left a stain. It was funny as shit.
That wasn't done.
The baby rabbits are ugly as fuck. They look like something went wrong with them because they have no hair when they're born. They're really gross looking.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why that popped in my head. But we were talking about, adding fur. Little bunny needed to nut. He had just nutted like 3 times. He was the cutest little rabbit too, so he got away with it. Because normally if, a rabbit humps your shoulder, you got to kill it and eat it. It's a matter of pride. Somewhere my daughter's smiling because she remembers that when that happened. Remco, fuck these names.
Well, it is Belgium and the Netherlands.
Verselsberg, a specialist at the Dutch weather forecasting company Wiffle, like the bat.
Wiffle.
Accused the Belgians of placing their wind farms in such a way that their wake effect has robbed the Dutch from the wind needed to power their turbines. Or, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe your wind turbines aren't as good as you think. Just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just shit. Maybe wind, there's a reason we haven't used wind energy, even though we've known about windmills for a millennia.
Yeah, probably.
Not only do the wind turbines steal the wind out of the other turbine sails, they don't have sails. They also are being shown to affect meteorological and atmospheric, not astrological, conditions. It throws Mercury into retrograde. Both in situ and satellite observations have suggested that nautical surface temperatures increase in the vicinity of wind plants. Really, the thing generating energy is causing heat. I'm fucking shocked.
I see that.
Increase in the vicinity of wind plants as wind turbines mix warmer air from aloft down to the surface. Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that part of it. But does it? I mean, I guess it might a little bit, but not to the point where it's gonna. Never mind. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you people and your wind turbines. Fuck all y'all. And let's talk about solar, Jack. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about on this story?
No, I just thought it was funny.
It is funny because it's retarded. And once again, I just want to say I think all academics are retards. But let's talk about the Chinese, shall we?
Okay.
That story you shared of Schellenberg, Michael Schellenberg, talking about the panic-inducing reality of solar energy. So we're not going to watch the full video, Jack, but let the audience know if I'm wrong on this in any way. He's talking about the fact that almost all solar panels are made in China.
Yeah.
That's not the scary part. The scary part is they have a kill switch that the Chinese have access to.
Yeah, so that the inverters that convert the energy, they have a kill switch in them if they're made in China. So in the event that they decide to invade a place like Taiwan, they just shut off their solar.
And if we try to intercede, they can shut off ours.
Yep. Because the majority of solar powers, anything is made in China. So if you have an inverter on your solar panel and it's made in China, chances are pretty good it's got a kill switch.
And before anybody's like, oh, conspiracy theory, it's happened already.
Hey, fact.
They've done it already to some people. This is a bad thing.
A little bit. I was actually kind of surprised by this because you hear. I mean, that's why I called it a conspirafact.
Yes,
because they're going to call you a conspiracy theorist for this, but they've done it already. So it's one of those inconvenient things like Biden being fucking bonkers.
Yeah, there is no good reason for a kill switch to be built into these things.
There is strategically from a military standpoint.
Yes, in that
That's
regard,
about
yes.
it.
Real quick, thank you, Dangerous Spaces. Stealing wind, the fuck does that even mean? Next, the Neanderthal will be accusing Belgium of washing their feet in the Netherlands, and pool of inner power in the Netherlands pool of inner power. I'm so sorry. By the way, which one's the lightning bearer? Oh my God, that's what Friends reference, Jack.
Ah.
I love when she looks at Ross and says, "How can I grow if you won't let me blow?" And he goes, "You know, I don't have a problem with that." It's one of my favorite lines of the whole show. They got away with a blowjob joke in the early 90s.
Well, it was more subdued then. Now they would just be like, blowjobs! Ah!
Well, I told you I was recently rewatching Dexter, and there's a moment where he specifically says the term blowjob, and it's like, wow, the world really has changed. Because I was watching like a retrospective on Bonanza the other day, and it's amazing how clean the westerns of the 60s were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 50s, 60s, and up until even the mid 70s, things were really puritanical.
Yeah. Anyway, remember back in TV and early TV, they weren't even allowed to have married couples lay in the same bed.
Yeah, I think the Munsters were the first ones to actually be in the same bed.
Yeah, it was like, that's taboo, what everybody does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably a lot better to have separate beds.
Pirate
So
says Dexter's. Oh, go ahead.
if you like covers.
Dexter's getting a new show. Yeah, I know. Dexter Resurrection. And I'm curious about it because, unlike a lot of Dexter fans, I really like how New Blood ended, and it should have been the end of the whole thing. Spoiler alert: Dexter gets shot. And there's, for some reason, a lot of fans are like, no, he should never die. He's a serial killer, y'all. Just because he serial kills the right people, I mean, he's still a serial killer. Anyway, yeah, so the communists always play the long game, Jack, and
They
we've
do.
got to start paying attention to it.
The Chinese are notorious for playing the long game. It's been their thing for 1,000 years. Whether you go back to the Han Dynasty or whatnot, they are notorious for long-term planning.
Mm-hmm. And this is some long-term planning. I mean, I don't know about where you live, Jack, but once we get closer to the major cities, Lansing or Detroit or to a little lesser extent, Grand Rapids, you start seeing wind and solar farms all over the place.
Yeah, we don't have as many where I'm at, but there are quite a few in Ohio. There's more people with solar panels on their houses than I ever saw before. Just in the last like 5 or 6 years, people have been getting them. And farms have small wind turbines. Like they, back in the old days, that's how they used to pump their wells.
Yep.
Now they have them to generate electricity for their barns and stuff.
I am for things like if you want to put a solar panel on your house, it can help you save electricity. Sure.
Yeah.
But understand that the converters he's talking about are not necessarily the industrial ones that a power company uses. These are for your houses.
Yeah, they're the ones that people buy for emergency situations.
Yep.
And some of the everyday use ones, but I mean, you're talking quite a lot of solar equipment is going to be just outright killed. Real fast, so thank you, Vol Potato. I'd just like to say the only reason most solar panels are made in China is because China flooded foreign markets with even more heavily subsidized panels at well below market price to destroy any other manufacturer.
Yep.
And it's even worse than that because they were using Uyghur slave labor at the concentration camps to build the solar panels.
Hey, they're not going to re-educate themselves, Jack.
That's true. I mean, they don't need two kidneys to do that job.
It's how fucked up the Chinese are. They got me rooting for the Muslims in that situation.
Politics makes strange bedfellows.
This is a disturbing development. And if everything Michael says in this report, I'll throw the link in the chat. But if everything he says is true in here, this is disturbing. This is scary shit.
Yeah, it's
Because
real scary because what other electronics have they put kill switches in?
you don't need to put them in too many more when you can kill the electricity.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to assume that some things are either shielded or not going to be run off that and be run off generators. There's a lot of computers made there. So, what kind of hidden programming is buried in stuff?
How many different things have we already seen the Chinese adding shit to that they shouldn't? Wasn't there one where they were adding cameras to something?
Yeah, and the Huawei towers for their cell phones were having like tracking information or tracking devices put in there so they could monitor calls and stuff. So yeah, it's not like this is anything new. But I think the cameras weren't they in like something weird like I don't remember some kind of construction equipment.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. The cranes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It was in the cranes. Yeah.
yeah, the dockyards. I knew it was some kind of heavy equipment thing.
But nobody's really paying attention to it. They have us by the short and curlies because we keep allowing them to have us by the short and curlies. We keep
Yep.
going, whatever you want, homie.
Yeah, and people get all pissed off when Trump tries to put a tariff in there to kind of equal things out a little bit. They're still stealing all our industrial research, industrial espionage, all the trademarks, patents, stuff. They're stealing it so they don't have to pay for the research, then not making knockoffs.
Yep.
They're using slave labor, unfair business practices. They don't give a shit because they know that this is how they can win.
Key loggers and everything. Yeah, that would be an easy one to do too. We got to pay attention to this shit.
Well, we have to have politicians that aren't so easily bribed. So, because I mean, how many of them are getting money from the Chinese?
All right, moving along. Jack, did you watch Critical Drinker's video today on the Fantastic Four?
Yep.
Oh dear God.
I had actually heard the rumor previously. It's been going around for a little while.
I'm not going to ruin the show, but we can't talk about it without talking about it. So I will do my best not to spoil shit.
Yeah, but here's your spoiler alert just in case.
Yeah, so if you're gonna go watch the Fantastic Four movie and you want to go in blind because you're still clinging to that childish bit of hope you have,
you naive young person, you.
Sweet summer child. This is your warning to get out now. In true Marvel fashion, even though this is a team of 4 people, 3 men and 1 lady,
Ugh, men. Ugh, like we need them.
it's gonna be a girl boss movie.
Yep.
Reportedly, the end is not the Fantastic Four taking out the big bad. It's going to be the female Silver Surfer and Sue Storm, while the men are sidelined.
I'm still irritated by the female Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I had to laugh when people were talking about how ugly she is. The not the woman playing her, but the actual Silver Surfer as she appears on the screen.
Yeah.
Because I'd never heard of the female Silver Surfer, so I went and looked her up, and I actually think they did a pretty good rendition of her because those drawings were fucking horrible.
Well, it's an alternate future storyline. So it was a limited series, basically. They did like 2 of them on Earth X. And it was dumb. It was just lazy idea. They did do a what if story years and years ago. What if somebody else had become the Silver Surfer? So
Right.
it's stupid. This is just lazy. The usual kind of swapping we see with this, where they're either gender or race swapping. They're doing it with Wonder Man too. It's pathetically lazy, and they're not subverting anyone's expectations because now this is the expectation. And having Sue Storm and Silver Surfer girl boss it up as the champions of this. Oh, and Franklin Richards. We can't forget there's a baby involved.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. I just dropped Silver Critical Drinkers video in chat if anybody wants to watch it yourself. Trying to find a good still frame in there to use. There we go.
I think, unfortunately, this rumor, because it is spreading like wildfire, and it does appear to be quite likely accurate, it's going to tank this movie.
Well, the reason people are talking about it now is because they had the rumor's been out there for a little while, but there was a test screening of the latest edition of this movie.
Yeah.
And it went so bad they started reshoots again.
Yeah, because somebody that went to the test screening leaked out what was going on, and that made Disney freak the fuck out. And Disney wouldn't freak out if it wasn't accurate. Real quick though, thank you, Tyrai. Thanks to the YouTube channel, The China Show. Oh, good channel. Serpenta and what's his face. I got to learn a lot about the CCP and how they passed a law in 2017 that requires all citizens to turn in any sensitive document. Chinese students and teachers that come over here and send the IP back to China. Yep, they require their countrymen to basically be assets for the military. It's very, very disturbing.
Cree says they're still reshooting right now, so who knows how it's going to turn out. When you're this close to release and you're doing reshooting, I cannot think of a time that has ever worked out well.
No, it didn't work for Rise of Skywalker. It sure as shit didn't work for Captain America Brave New World. They basically, both those movies were filmed 3 times at least. A lot of movies, when they do these last minute reshoots, it just tanks it.
And even more concerning, if I was Marvel, is that according to what's been reported, the test screenings for Superman have done very well.
Yeah. Apparently, all the guest appearances that you see in there are very minimal.
Yep.
So they're just kind of using that as a teaser for future movies to be set up. And all those characters have a very minor role. In this one, apparently the Thing is barely in the movie. And everything, it's a Sue Storm movie. Everything revolves around her.
Because everything in Marvel has to be about women now.
Yeah. And I agree with Drinker. That woman looks a lot older in the movie advertisement than she does in real life.
We saw Pedro Pascal dancing with a light up rainbow stick and licking it like a large cock. And this is still the gayest I've ever seen him look.
I mean, at least the costumes are kind of comic accurate, so I'll give them credit for that. But I don't know, that there's apparently a scene in here where he's like in his 20s and Sue's 14, and that's how they meet. And I'm like, oh, that's I didn't realize Mr. Fantastic was Muslim.
Yeah. I don't understand why they have such a hard time with the Fantastic Four story. It's been written for them for decades.
Because they don't want to go, because the Fantastic Four is effectively a nuclear family. And Hollywood hates that.
Yeah.
That they see it as like Leave It to Beaver, and they detest anything where the dad's a smart man who's in charge and can handle situations. You can't have that these days. And Johnny Storm, the womanizer, come on, dude.
Yeah. I remember watching somebody talking about the original Fantastic Four movie and Chris Evans playing that. And like, he keeps hitting on this chick. Like, so?
Yeah, it's kind of normal for somebody who finds somebody attractive to be like, how you doing?
That person was very offended that the chick ended up getting with him. Like, yeah, women like funny, outgoing guys. I know it bothers you virgins, but it's true. I'm a decent looking man, Jack, but what carries me is my humor and my wit, and that's panty dropper, my friend.
Yeah.
My confidence.
Oh yeah, chicks love confidence or arrogance, and money. They like money too.
Yeah, see, that one I don't have, so you know.
Yeah. Like, share,
2 out of 3 ain't bad, lady monkey.
Links are in the description. Thank you, Tyrai. The Peacemaker season 2 has Guy Gardner in it, at least a guest appearance. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. I guess they're Peacemaker is doing like a storyline to merge them into this new universe. So I don't know what's going on there. I didn't much care for the show. I can see why a lot of people liked it. I just don't like John Cena.
What's bothered me about the portrayal of the Fantastic Four in the outings that I've seen, because I did eventually watch Fan Four Stick, which that movie is bad.
Damn, that movie is terrible.
So bad. And from what apparently we're going to be seeing in this one, is that in the Marvel Universe, Reed Richards used to be the smartest man. Smarter than Tony Stark. He was a fucking genius.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at how the MCU starts out with Tony being this massive genius, being the guy who is the go-to guy, that character not only can work, it absolutely did.
Yeah.
Now, Reed isn't as arrogant as Tony, but you don't have to make him a tard who has to follow what his woman does all the time.
Yeah. Up until very, very recently, Reed Richards is the smartest man in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
The smartest human, anyway. So,
human, yeah, I should have said that. You're right.
Yeah, but on Earth, he's the smartest man around. Tony Stark is like in second place, and Peter Parker is dancing in third to fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very few people smarter than that three. But Reed Richards was the smartest man, and then they retcon that so that Shuri from Black Panther is smarter than Reed, and Moon Girl is the smartest person on the planet, and Ironheart is smarter than Tony Stark and Reed Richards.
Well, you see, they were the smartest men, but nobody'd asked the women, and once they started asking the women, we found out they were all the smartest.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just the racism and sexism of the Marvel Universe there. They didn't want to talk to these minority women that are clearly smarter than them.
Danger said, I thought they said the Thing met Sue when she was 14.
Nope. There's a video clip.
Yeah.
Of Reed introducing himself to a teenage Sue Storm.
Yeah, I don't understand why they can't get this. I know, Jack, why, but I don't understand why they keep doing that.
Because they're going to... it's like the South Park clip. Our pandering isn't working, sir. Then we pander harder.
Until Spider-Man comes along, the Fantastic Four is the Marvel flagship.
Yeah. Yeah, for a while, off and on, those two books were switching places all the time. Especially when Stan Lee was working on them. The Fantastic Four was the world's greatest comic for the longest time.
And you have the blueprint. Follow the blueprint. That's what fans want. No. Stop making these movies for yourself and start making it for the fans.
A patriarchal family structure? No. Where the elder of the family is the smart one who tells Johnny to tone it down and keeps the Thing from freaking out on people. And his woman loves him and isn't telling him what to do all the time. That this is antithetical to all the propaganda of the last 25 years.
Fantastic Four is one of those comics where I didn't read it as much as I did like Spider-Man. So I can watch a Fantastic Four movie in theory and enjoy it more than any Spider-Man movie they ever make.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know as much about them. But the original movie, not the Harvey Korman one, the one Roger Corman. Whoops, fucking Harvey Korman.
I'd watch a Harvey Korman Fantastic Four movie.
Yes, I would. I would too. But the one that had
the Chris Evans in it.
Yes, the Chris Evans one.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the chick, that cute girl.
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba, yeah. And all I could think of was Idris Elba, and I'm like, those are not the same person.
You are knocking the names out of the park tonight.
I'm rocking it, my friend. I'm rocking it.
Yeah. Jessica Alba is still hot, and she's like our age.
I liked it. I tried not screwing up her name and fucked up Roger Corman's instead.
Because
I like women, y'all. I wouldn't do that to a woman.
Hank Pym and Bruce Banner. They're both considered geniuses, but they're not. Like Hank Pym is kind of in the same league as Tony Stark, but they round out the top 5.
Yeah.
As far as who is Moon Girl, back in the 70s, there was a book called Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy, and it was about a dinosaur and a slightly evolved chimpanzee. Basically, it was like a proto-human. They decided to update that, and they did one where it takes place in the modern day with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Same dinosaur, but now there's this like 9-year-old black girl, and she's the smartest person on the fucking planet. I wish I was kidding. That's just some stupid nonsense. And I think that is actually where somebody coined the term black girl magic. Because her intelligence was so off the chart. It was like everybody praised her. It was like everybody was under a spell when they were around her.
Dangerous, thank you. Oh shit, we're gonna lose a bunch of money on this film. I know. Let's pour even more money into it so we can have an even bigger bomb. Fuck me, these movie studios are head-slappingly stupid at times. In theory, reshoots are the way to go with this. The problem is, and this is what you end up with so many. I mean, like Justice League, when they have the switch because they know it's going badly, you end up with 2 different movies, and everybody can tell because the basic premise is still boiled in, and they're not going to go back and reshoot enough of it to fix the problems that lead to what made audiences mad.
Yeah, they don't have time. They've already set the release schedule, which, by the way, they moved back Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. They moved them back by a full year because those are far enough out that they could do that. But this one, they've already locked in all the release stuff.
Yep.
So it's too late. If this movie tanks, Disney might be in some trouble because they've already been bleeding money, and apparently Disney Plus is not doing well either. And they raised all the prices at their amusement parks because those places aren't doing well, and they've been having to cut back on that too. So they're doing layoffs, by the way, at Disney.
People ain't got money to go to fucking Disney.
No.
Anyway, I was getting to a point on my Idris Elba movie. I did that on purpose, by the way. What I hated about that movie is that I do know enough about the Fantastic Four to know that Reed Richards shouldn't be a fucking self-doubting retard afraid of women.
Yeah.
But that's the Hollywood trope. He's a smart guy, so he's got to have no way of talking to the women's.
Yeah, but and that's just not true. Him and Sue were together for a while before all this started, and he's not a hideous troglodyte or anything. He looks like almost like the dad from My Three Sons.
Yes.
So he's not a hideous man or anything. He's just a normal genius. Nowadays they want to make everybody that's super smart into like some version of autistic.
Yep.
And that's not always the case. And it's a superhero movie, so he can just be a normal fucking person.
Even Stephen Hawking had a woman.
Yeah, he had a couple of them from the sound of it.
One of them would probably beat him, but
probably
still they got this idea that nerds can't get laid. Like, yeah, tell that to Elon's 14 kids.
Right? With like 9 different moms.
Right? How can a rich, successful, smart guy ever get laid? That's a fucking mystery.
Yeah, it's almost like they're jealous of people that are successful at anything, and they want to create this idea that there has to be some major flaws with them.
And again, you don't have to go that route. Watch the first Iron Man. That still holds up. And Tony he's rich and he's smart and he's actually good with the ladies.
Yeah, he's incredibly arrogant and self-assured. So, yeah, it's this whole we need to make men into namby-pamby bitches is really tiresome.
I just feel like that's what they're going to do here.
Oh, absolutely. And as I think Drinker pointed out, there were 3 other people that were asked to play the part before Pedro Pascal, and they all turned it down. And it wasn't because there's a lack of money from Marvel.
Right. That's what, when I heard him say that, I wondered if Krasinski turned it down, because he should have played this. I mean, he did great with it in the moments he was in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and he would have been fine. But I bet he took one look at this script and was like, not a chance.
Okay, as I said, I'm not as familiar with the comic book, but and most of my familiarity comes from like 60s through probably early 90s of them.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Pedro have a mustache?
Because Pedro has a mustache in real life.
But Mr. Fantastic doesn't.
Nope.
I hate his gay stash.
It's his trademark mustache. It's his thing. Like Cesar Romero refusing to shave his mustache to play the Joker.
Yeah, but they put makeup over that, so it looked like he needed to wash his face.
It should have been a green makeup too, so it matched his hair.
Yeah, it should have, yeah.
That'd have been so much cooler.
It bothers me that something that simple. Shave your fucking lip.
Yeah, he won't do it though. That was the first sign to me there were going to be problems with this movie. Is that Pedro Pascal clearly doesn't care enough to shave his mustache. So the whole movie, if you're slacking on a detail like that, you're gonna do it through the whole thing.
He's gone barefaced in other movies.
Yeah, but those weren't feminist films. He's not the star of this one, so it doesn't matter. Sue is.
That's part of the problem. One, it should be the 4 of them are the star.
You'd think in a movie about a team called the Fantastic Four, it would
right.
be, but no. The 4 are the 4 ovaries between the Silver Surfette and Mrs. Fantastic. There, she's not the Invisible Woman. She's Sue Storm, powerhouse.
Storm. I just hate that they're doing this again.
Well, eventually, they're going to. It's not going to be Marvel fatigue. It's going to be brand damage.
Yeah,
because Fantastic Four has had 4 films. 1 was never released, and 3 were giant turd burglars of films. The first 2 were actually fairly successful, but even the second one, Rise of the Silver Surfer, that one was kind of weak because they did that whole like the U.S. military tortures people thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really lame. And it was a pretty terrible movie.
I'd also like to point out that because Drinker brings this up, the whole female Silver Surfer, and you talked about it, the alternate universe limited run. That was in 1999.
Uh-huh.
You know what's going on with Marvel in 1999? They were preparing for bankruptcy, so they had to sell their rights to Spider-Man for the silver screen.
Well, they were throwing a lot of shit at the wall back then, and it wasn't sticking.
Maybe going back to, when you were failing isn't the right era to go to.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I honestly don't think they knew there was a female Silver Surfer. I think they just wanted to gender swap somebody. And instead of race swapping, well, Pedro Pascal is Latino, so they did race swap Mr. Fantastic. But they have to have more vagina in the film and more minorities. They really think that there are flaws in the characters because they're not enough women or minorities.
That's another thing that bothers me about Fan Four Stick when they make Johnny black. Just make Sue black if you're gonna do that. No, it's adopted. Shut the fuck up. You know what the easy swap there would have been? It would have been Ben.
Yeah.
Ben would have been the easy swap because he's not familially related to the others. He's just a friend.
Yeah.
And you can't have a black friend.
Not one that you turn into Rock, apparently.
Can't turn the black guy into a monster and have him named Grim.
Yeah.
He would have been the smart choice.
They won't be able to do that in this movie because of the subtext that there would be is that black people support Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
Because Ben's orange.
right.
The black guy turned orange. He goes, might as well just wear a MAGA shirt.
I just stop doing this. Just make the stories that exist already that people already love.
Yeah.
Just do that.
No, they don't want to do that. It's all about messaging. It's all propaganda now. It's got to be propaganda.
Is it sad that the one that was never released is arguably the best? No, because I've seen the other ones.
It's arguably the most comic book accurate, despite all its flaws, because it is a Roger Corman film, so the budget was like $3,000.
Yeah.
It is arguably the most comic book accurate. Dr. Doom looked like Dr. Doom. The Fantastic Four had their costumes. They looked like them. They had the powers correct. The dialogue was pretty fucking awful. And the whole thing with like the jeweler, which should have been the mole man, was a bit silly. But at least they were going for a comic book feel to the movie.
It just never stops surprising me. I get that Hollywood has to condense stuff, but like in Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, where they gaily do the death of Gwen Stacy and actually kind of make a joke of it because MJ lives. Weird, MJ lived or survived the death of Gwen Stacy storyline.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. That
was
so stupid.
They should, if they were going to do that, they should have had Gwen be the one and bring Mary Jane in later.
Yeah.
Dangerous, thank you. This is what's annoying about anytime they race gender swap. If you don't care about something as simple as how a character looks, why the fuck would you respect anything else of the source material? Yeah.
Yeah. There are plenty. I mean, honestly, there are plenty of minority characters in the Marvel universe. They just don't care about them because they're minor characters.
Yeah. That's why they got to do the hand-me-down Ironheart. Fuck off.
Yeah. The second-hand mantle. Mm-hmm. It's lazy. It's very lazy creatively. And the reason is the majority of the audience for comic books, because we live in a predominantly white country, is white young men. White people are the majority in the United States. I'm sorry, it's shocking to everybody apparently in Hollywood, but 65% of the population is white. So of course that's your target demographic.
In my comic book years, Jack, I'm living in a black neighborhood. We all read the comic books, and not one of my black friends was like, I'd like Spider-Man if only he was black.
Yeah, of course not, because kids don't think that way.
No.
That's some nonsense adults put on them. Every kid wanted to be Superman at one point in their life.
Yeah, because I wanted to fly and be able to see women naked.
Yeah, and shoot laser beams out of your eyes to smite your enemies for fun.
You know, whatever. Different people.
Yeah, there's plenty of pictures of black kids dressed like Superman. It's not about skin color until you make it about skin color, you fucking racist.
And it should also be pointed out that even in the comics, and they've been swapping characters now and then for a long, long time, it never does as well as the original. There's very few characters you can point to go, oh, they got super popular after they swapped out the original guy for generic jackass, white or black, number 2.
Yeah, you could do it temporarily for a very short run, and then people are like, all right, the storyline's kind of run its course, bringing the original back, because that's the person they want to read about.
There was a black Iron Man. Are you sure? Was there a black Iron Man?
Rhodey took over the Iron Man suit for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He had been around for a long time, at least a year in the comics, and that was when Tony was having a lot of problems boozing. So Rhodey took over as Iron Man, and that lasted for several years. But Rhodey wasn't a new character. He had been around for a while. and they did it in a very good transition. So it wasn't like Iron Man or Tony just gave up being Iron Man all the time either. But yeah, Rhodey was Iron Man for a while, but again, that was a temporary thing. They brought Tony back because fans demanded it.
Yes, because we want to see Tony as him, not Rhodey as him. Because changing something like that, it's kind of like making Falcon Captain America.
Yeah.
Even if he had taken the super soldier serum, he's not the good man we watched get his ass kicked as a child and still stood up to bullies and jumps on a grenade. I realize I'm doing the movie version of it, but
yeah,
it's not that same character. It's a different guy now.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same feel to the character because he's a different person entirely. And Captain America being Sam Wilson in the comics was never popular. The sales were abysmal for it, and they still are, and they're still doing it. They have 2 Captain Americas running around now. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's lazy. He was better as the Falcon. He was his own man. Now he's like always going to be in the shadow of Steve Rogers.
When they replace Steve with Johnny Walker, he doesn't stay Captain America forever. Then he goes off and becomes his own superhero.
Yeah, he becomes U.S. agent.
U.S. agent, yeah. Do that. Do it kind of like they used to do in sitcoms where out of nowhere they would look at this really important character and you just knew there was a spinoff coming.
Yeah. Well, in the Cap had resigned because there was this kind of pussy storyline where he killed the terrorist. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, sad about it. And he quits being Captain America. Well, they went to find a replacement. They got Walker. He turned out to be a psycho.
Yeah.
And started killing people all over the place and being a problem. And Captain America, Steve Rogers had to come back in a different costume under the name The Captain and stop him, and he reclaimed the mantle.
And that's my whole point here is that for anybody who's like, oh, you're just, no, I'm not racist. I don't care about that stupid shit. But people want to see the character. And for a group of people who's like, my skin color identifies me. It's amazing how it doesn't have that same effect when they're talking about, like a character on a cartoon movie. I know it's perfectly okay for the rich white guy to be black now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Notice they don't do that with black characters very often. Like,
no, of course not.
When are we gonna get Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther? When are we gonna get the Cosby Show with a white dude?
The Black Panther one still pisses me off. I get that Chadwick Boseman was well liked in Hollywood, and the fact that even when he was going through his cancer treatment was still out there working, good on him. But Black Panther didn't die. The actor who played him for one movie did. There's other black actors. Instead of shoving them into a white actor suit, why not give them the black character to play? Oh, that's right, because we needed to give Black Vag that role. Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. That also really pisses me off, the whole, you can't be what you can't see. 1, you can't be Superman even if he is black. 2, by definition, somebody has to be the first to be what they've never seen. Yeah, that argument never holds water with me.
Yeah, the guy that is going to play Wonder Man would make a good Black Panther. Why did they give him that role?
Well, because we have to have the female Black Panther now.
Yeah, she's so awesome. You just don't understand. Ugh.
This is the shit we're talking about. I mean, arguably Black Panther is the most well-known, and even before the movies, the most well-known black superhero in the Marvelverse. Would you agree?
Yeah, Black Panther, he's one of the first black superheroes anyway for Marvel. So yeah, he's arguably one of the most popular too. Him and Blade and maybe Luke Cage.
And you give him one goddamn movie, and because the actor dies, the character has to die too. And you don't just get a new black actor to play that character?
It's the same problem they're having with replacing Captain America and Iron Man with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting new actors, they just write them out, and that's what is killing the Marvel universe. You have all these peripheral characters that nobody gives a shit about. Nobody cares about Sam Wilson. He's a sidekick.
Yeah.
It's not because he's black. It's because he's a fucking sidekick. Anthony Mackie is a really good actor, but he should be playing Falcon.
Well, frankly, he is.
Yeah, he's playing Falcon, cosplaying as
Captain
America.
Okay, my lady's up. I'm gonna go say hi to her, so we're gonna wrap this one up
real quick. Thank you, Okie Native. The Cosby Show with a white dude. Wasn't that just the fat movie producer who banged Scarlett Johansson?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the Harvey Weinstein story.
The Harvey Weinstein show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
Nope. Still haven't managed to finish anything. Got a lot going on IRL. But thank you guys for the donations. Thanks for coming out and supporting the show. You guys are awesome. And never let anyone tell you otherwise.
They recast Rhodey and Hulk. Yes, they did recast both of those characters, but they kept them the characters they were. When Terrence Howard leaves, they didn't go, well, guess he can't have a black best friend anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got to have his sister come in and play Rhodey. Fuck, I hate what they've done to this shit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Guys, take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Jack's supposed to be in the 80s today. I'm so happy.
Ugh, fuck that.
My titty's gonna be sweating and I'm gonna smile.